なあ、マキナ。
いかがいたしましたか？
もしかしての話だ。いや、世に限ってそんなことは微塵もないと分かっているのだが、一応確認させてくれ。世はこの時代では何もできないのではないのか。
My friends, we have a Demon Lord episode number 2, 2099. Is that how you say it? Demon Lord 2099 episode 2. That's how you say it. I can start a video, I promise you. Okay, here's the thing. Episode number 2 kind of began delivering on exactly what I expect and what I wanted from this show, which truly, purely, innocently is comedy. And I think, you know, one of the only similar shows that we can really draw from, and I hate to use comparisons when talking about a specific, you know, anime or video game or whatever. I hate kind of like talking like, oh, I hate having to talk about another anime or another video game just to make a comparison, but I'll quickly do it and then I'm going to get out of there. So the only other one that I can really reference that's in a similar ballpark is the devil is a part-timer. And the reason that's similar is it's not Demon Lord, but it was like, you know, Mahao, the devil, you know, the actual like devil of the underworld, whatever, right? And one thing that Devil's a Part-Timer really delivered on, at least the first season really nailed. Second and third, we can argue that. But one of the things it really nailed was just comedy and the just hilarity of the devil or demon lord integrating themselves into just everyday life. That concept was really funny. And they ended up having this dude work at McDonald's, right? And it ended up being a really, really funny show. And that's one of the things that it delivered on was this nuanced kind of view that it was just really funny. So snap back to Demon Lord 2099, and it delivered on comedy kind of towards the tail end of the show. And it delivered on the value proposition or the thing that's going to sell us on to watch more of it. And that's the fact that the Demon Lord is going to become a streamer. And we had the girl, the little hacking girl, and she was like, okay, what does a Demon Lord do who wants to kind of like spread his renown, wants to kind of spread awareness of that he exists? He's from 500 years ago. He's 100% convinced he's a Demon Lord. What does that person do? And she sees on the screen that they have one of those like VTuber people, whatever they are. And there's like a streamer on there, and she's like, holy crap, that's the thing. That's your thing. You go and be a streamer. You go and be this not product, but you go and be this persona, you know, on the street. But it's not even a persona, it's genuinely him. And it kind of reminds me of another show, which is, again, I keep having to pull from other shows, but there was another one called Uncle in Another World, where he basically was a streamer telling stories about his fantasy life, and people, although maybe didn't necessarily believe him, but you know, they were interested in the stories he was telling. So this is a very interesting value proposition here, and I think it could be really funny for this now Demon Lord can now come and, you know, tell stories of what happened before, basically be this persona that people kind of know from a history, like history books and stuff, but it can be really, really, really funny, and it can spread awareness of his existence, which will just increase his powers. The other thing that was really funny about the episode too, and I hope they keep hitting these kind of like comedy or comedic notes, because if they do, they're not trying to be intentionally funny, but they're funny because they just kind of happen. If they could keep hitting these notes, I think it would be funny. So the Demon Lord goes and he went to the commuter guild or commerce guild or something like that. He went to go look for a job, and he went to like a staffing agency, and his whole entire interview was just hilarious, right? He's like, oh, okay, so I see here that you're you know, a kingdom, you know, you're a kingdom management person, and you led an army of blah 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 500 years ago, and your last time of employment was 500 years, like to the dot, you know, and like that, the whole interview funny. So I think they nailed the interview. And then the after, right? He doesn't get a job. They're like, yo, get the heck out of here, homie. He goes back to the apartment, and he's laying on the lap of Machina, basically telling her about her rough day, his rough day, or whatever. That's just funny. That's already setting a funny setting. But then B, he tells her, he's like, okay, he's like, am I just incapable in this modern era? Am I just a loser? And just the way that he said it and the lines of dialogue, and she's like, no. But just that, I was losing it. I was just like, I was like doing my Eddie Murphy laugh. I was laughing at that moment. I was like, yeah, that's And I think I said it in the moment, just like, this is what I'm here for. Like that scene, and it's like, that's what I'm here for. Like that was funny. So Demon Lord 2099 episode 2, I think better than episode 1. I think if the show can continue to push us in the direction of Demon Lord trying to fit in modern society, but kind of spreading his awareness to increase his powers to hopefully rule the world again. Hopefully he has a wake-up call, kind of like how initially that other show I was telling, Devil's a Part-Time, he came in and was like, oh, I'm going to rule the world. He's like, actually, you know what? I'm kind of happy. Just, you know, this works for me. I hope he has that kind of moment, and him just being a streamer is just really, really funny. I think where the show will shine for me and you, and most people, I think, is going to be focusing on him being a streamer, or just, you know, integrating in like this new version of the world and not being a demon lord, and like all that stuff. I think is going to be funny, including the relationships he's going to end up building. I think where the show will fail is if they push too hard on him trying to be the demon lord, and fight scenes and kind of the things where he kind of like was going up against his former, you know, confidant, teammate, peons, whatever, as well as potentially like him trying to, you know, have adversarial, not battles, but moments. I think that's where the show can lose us, and it wasn't really good for that. So those would be the two things as far as like my feedback and kind of like my review. But episode 2, 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really good episode, and I laughed, and I thought it was funny. And it was funny in not like hee hee ha ha. It was just funny as like this, what they're doing is just funny. And then I did have the couple of hee hee ha ha moments in the store when they were taking his 3D scan. They're picking his tracksuit in the interview when he was in the Commerce Guild, and then, you know, when he was sitting on the lap. Those 3 moments I think were funny enough to elevate the episode for me. So yeah, Demon Lord 2099. Good stuff. Can't wait to see more. Legitimately can't wait to see more. So I'll see you guys next week for episode 3. And then we'll kind of make a decision from there if there's something we're going to be sticking with or not. Just depend if episode 3 can kind of continue the momentum episode 2 had, then we'll definitely be here, you know, beyond episode 3. But if it kind of dips back to episode 1, it may be one of those things where it's like, hey, I see that there's potential here, but we're just going to hit pause, at least for me covering it every week on the channel, and go from there. So we'll see what next week has in store for us. So yeah, I'll see you guys then, and we'll make a decision. Peace.